Brodes Media.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Brodes. As we sit here, it is late Thursday night. We saw what transpired at practice. It was definitely interesting. There were some things that I was shocked to see, and we will get into all of that. We will get into if the Commanders' defensive coordinator is potentially a scumbag. We will take your phone calls as well. So we have so much to talk about. I can't wait. I mean, I can't fucking wait for this game on Sunday, if I'm being honest. Like, let's go. The fact that it's not Sunday yet is kind of pissing me off. I've been ready for the last 24 hours. I was at the gym, and I was getting a good pump. All right, I can feel my veins popping out of my biceps as I'm on my 36th set of bicep curls, because that's the only thing that matters anyway, right? And I'm going, I can't wait to watch Jalen Hurts kick ass. I can't wait to watch Jalen Hurts throw dots. I can't wait to watch Saquon Barkley stiff arm a motherfucker and then spin a rama around someone else, take it to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, 20, 15, to the 10, 5, touchdown! And you start to hear boom, 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 fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory! I mean, it's going to be outstanding. Oh, if you don't have goosebumps, you're dead. Hey, listen, we're going to have fun today. Before we do, though, let me tell you about my friends over at DraftKings. Playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. The NFC Championship. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. You know where I'm going. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. Maybe sprinkle in Eagles to cover the spread as well. Remember, lines and odds are subject to change. DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I'm actually out of breath right now, if you can't tell, so bear with me. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BRODES. That's code BRODES for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right, I'm going to do my best here to get myself back on track. I did cardio, too. You know, it's not just the bicep curls. I did 10-pound weight vest on a nice incline at a good, steady, slow speed. So I shouldn't be out of breath. I'm 3 weeks into this puppy. You kidding me? God, I'm embarrassing. Okay. Let's begin with the Eagles practice report. Dallas Goedert did not participate with an ankle. Something to keep a very close eye on for Friday. But the one that really sticks out is Landon Dickerson is now taking snaps at center and Tyler Steen slid in the left guard because Cam Jurgens has a back injury? Uh-oh. Now, I do trust Landon Dickerson. While he may not have many snaps at center in the NFL, he spent a long time, all right, being the guy in the middle of that offensive line at Alabama. So it's not as if he doesn't know what he's doing. It's not as if he has no experience whatsoever. And I like Tyler Steen as well when we've seen him in pinches and whatnot. I still have so much faith in Lane and Becton and Dickerson and everyone, Mailata. I feel so good about this O-line. even if Cam Jurgens can't go, I think without having a second half blizzard and without having to deal with an insane amount of snow and Mother Nature making it very uncomfortable for those guys out there on the field, you're probably going to see a more polished version of the offensive line. That's number one. And number two, there's just so much talent to protect the quarterback, and Jeff Stoutland University always has players ready to go whenever their number is called. So I still feel good about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a big loss. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot to be said about the relationship between the quarterback and the center and the comfortability of the snaps and, talking at the line of scrimmage and who you're communicating with. And you have a new left guard, so now Mailata is playing next to somebody different. And there's definitely things to be said about the communication factor. I just have trust that they are well prepared. I have trust in the coaching staff that if they do have to go that route and they do have to utilize that avenue, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that they are as precise as possible. And there's no reason for me to believe, like at the end of the day, if this game doesn't go our way, which it won't happen, but hypothetically, let's say it does, I highly doubt my takeaway will be, you know where it all went wrong? Our offensive line just straight up collapsed. If that's the case, then we're going to have some major discussions, because that means something went terribly wrong from more than just a left guard change, okay? That means something went wrong, big time wrong, pathetic wrong. How did that happen wrong? And who knows, maybe Cam Jurgens is going to be effective and the back problem won't be an issue, and then Friday he ends up being more involved in practice and we're good to go. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, not that that is my favorite place because I don't really like to utilize it too much, but they did say that in pass blocking last week against the Rams, Cam Jurgens allowed 4 pressures and a sack, and maybe it had something to do with him not being 100%, and they're realizing, hey, we need it to be sharper. We need it to be cleaner. Or it's, you're not 100%. Let's not even have you out there during practice. There's no reason to put you in a spot where something could get worse. Let's rest you up because we need you on Sunday. And it's just a classic case of, let's put you out of harm's way. We can't have something get tweaked. We don't want you to accidentally move in a certain way to make it react, and then we're in a worse spot. So just go sit on the sidelines. We'll figure out how we're going to get through the practice week. We'll have Tyler Steen prepared and make sure that he knows anything can happen mid-game. So you're the guy. Be ready. It may happen. We may need to call on you. So be ready and act as if you're starting. Maybe that's the route they're going. I like their options no matter what direction they have to go. I have so much confidence in that group not hitting any sort of panic button, and I don't think that's going to be a game changer. And I do think the Commanders losing an offensive lineman is a game changer because of what Jalen Carter provides. And not just that, if Jalen Carter has all the eyeballs glued to him, that's going to open the door for Nolan Smith. It's going to open the door for someone else. So if it's not specifically Jalen Carter getting through, which he is still going to, what he does just by his presence and just the fear that other teams have whenever they look into his eyes, and then they all know our attention has to fully be sucked into that guy, because if it's not, he's going to cause so many issues and Jaden Daniels will be running for his life. And if Jalen Carter gets to him a couple times, it's going to fucking hurt. You're going to set your team up to punt nonstop because, well, now it's 3rd and 17, it's 3rd and 14, it's 2nd and 15 because Jalen Carter is a menace. Well, if it's not Jalen Carter, just the emphasis of Jalen Carter is going to start making it a little easier for everybody else surrounding the defensive line. So it'll be fun. I can't wait. All right, so there's the Landon Dickerson side of it. Goddard, as I mentioned, did not practice. If he can't go, it's a big loss. It's a big loss. You got to remember, what do we do so well? We love running the rock, baby. Well, there's something to be said about your usual Cam Jurgens helping with run blocking, Dallas Goedert. There's always so much praise from the wide receivers and their blocking too. It's a team effort, is my point. Is everybody has been a part of this since the switch occurred. I was going to say since the season began, but they didn't really buy into their identity of being a run-first team until the offensive lineman went into Nick Sirianni's office at the time of that bye week. But once they made the switch internally, once they switched everything in their mind as well, going, yo, this is going to be how we're going to do it, and watch, nobody can keep up pace, and we are going to run you over every single time we hand the football off. They've all been a part of this. So a Goddard, a Jurgens, it's a loss. It's a loss. We'll see, though. I still feel there's a good chance that both of them play because, well, it's the NFC Championship. And unless these guys physically actually can't or are at such a small percent, they're at 15 or 20%, unless it's that bad, then they're most likely going to be out there, I'd imagine. Just something to keep our eyes on. Jalen Hurts was a full participant. And Lane Johnson said Jalen was mobile and moving. And he was a lot more fired up. I think that is something to note. Because Lane Johnson has been around Jalen Hurts for how many years now? He's been around Jalen Hurts in playoff runs as well, dating back to 2022, seeing what he was like that first season as well when they lost on the road to Tampa Bay. But Jalen, while he's cool, calm, and collected, and he's got a lot of poise and swag when he's speaking to us, we've all seen clips of him with the team. We've all seen whether he's addressing the squad after a win or whether he's on the field breaking down a huddle and they're leaving the tunnel and they're running out onto the field. He has a different personality when he's with the guys. And I just think that it's important to note that someone like Lane, it's registered to him that even Jalen has kicked it into gear a bit. Even Jalen has turned it up a notch. This is a different version of Jalen this week with a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the line. He's always got a certain way about him. So to notice that it has reached a different level, telling you, this guy's determined. This guy won't allow for them to lose. This guy is going to carry this team by doing what he needs to do to put them in the best position to get the dub. That doesn't mean go throw for 350 yards. I'm saying he's not going to turn the rock over. He's going to check at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to check to a play that's going to beat the coverage that the Commanders try and throw their way. And who knows, maybe that flips the field. Maybe that ends up in 7. Maybe that results in a touchdown 2 plays later. But he is going to do what Jalen Hurts does when he balls out and plays a smooth, crisp game. He's going to make the plays that are available for him. He's going to hand off the football when needed. He's going to hold it and take off when it's necessary for him to do that, when everyone bites on a potential Saquon Barkley run. And, that's just how it's going to be. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way, and I'm expecting a great, great, great game from the quarterback. I know this man is visualizing the win every single second he's at home, every second he's in the weight room, every second he's watching film. He's closing his eyes, and he's seeing a trip to the Super Bowl right at his fingertips. And in 2022, the Lombardi Trophy slipped away from his fingers. I don't think he's going to allow for that trip to New Orleans to happen. Or he's not going to allow the trip to not be a thing. He's not going to allow for a painful loss to happen again. That's what I meant. This could be a good transition point, though. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, let's listen to the defensive coordinator of the Commanders, who talked about how the defense is going to approach hitting Jalen Hurts, how they're going to try and get physical with Jalen Hurts if he decides to keep the football and ever run with it and become a runner.
we've had a number of these guys that we've had to prepare for, and so the one thing is if he's going to run the ball, and if the coordinator makes a decision for him to run the ball, we're going to treat him like a running back, and we're going to hit him that way. So that's their decision if they want to get him hit the way that he gets hit. If they don't, they'll keep him in the pocket. So, but that's what we're going to do.
All right, so there's a couple things there. Just from a very surface level discussion, you're trying to make a statement that they are going to be a physical bunch. Okay, as long as you don't cross the line in any way, shape, or form, you can hit a quarterback that is running with the football, right? But there's no way that's the intent when you make that type of statement publicly with the game coming up in a couple of days. So there's a reason he went that route. And there's a few things that come to mind. One, they have something scummy planned where they're going to try and take cheap shots, and he tells his team, I'll live with a 15-yard penalty. Take that guy out of the game, take his head off, make sure you hurt him, do something scummy. Right? That's one, and I can't rule it out. Sorry, can't rule it out. I've already seen Frankie Louvu do it a couple different times over the last couple of games, whether it was us, whether it was Jared Goff. There's a difference between playing tough and trying to tackle someone like a running back and being a flat-out jerk-off. Two completely different things. So that's number one. And I do think that I can't rule that out, unfortunately, because there's no reason for you to say this unless there is intent. So that's number one. Number two is he knows how deadly Jalen Hurts can be when he does keep the rock. He doesn't want Jalen to do it, so he's trying to make the Eagles double guess. He's trying to make Jalen Hurts wonder if it would be a smart decision, knowing he's banged up with his knee, knowing that he returned from a concussion a little bit ago. Is there going to be doubt in Jalen's mind now that their DC started to throw this in the atmosphere? Now, to be fair, I don't think that stops Jalen at all. But it actually shows me that this dude is shaking a little bit, knowing if Jalen's just going to play his game, if Jalen is going to play Jalen Hurts football and be smart and drag the football with Saquon across the line of scrimmage, see who bites, and then when they realize that, oh yeah, everybody's trying to go downhill on Saquon to make that tackle, I'm going to slip it away from Saquon's chest, I'm going to keep it, and I see a bunch of green grass. I know what that is capable of doing. That's capable of going 44 yards to the house. I saw it 1 week ago. So that is able to be a gut punch. That's able to be a game wrecker. And that happened early in the game against the Rams. But what if that's something that happens in the third quarter when it's a 7-point game, the Eagles are up, and this thing gets blasted open to a 2-touchdown score lead, and now you're starting to see that the Commanders don't have any answers. And the Commanders see the game slip away from them. You're watching the coordinator almost show his fear level in the quarterback and what he's capable of doing, that he's trying to slow it down. I feel it's a combination of both of those is what it is. I think they absolutely 1,000% have a mentality of, we are going to try and hurt him. And look, there's a difference between saying you're going to play tough football. I'm not saying it's the NFL, right? It's the NFL. It's a tough game. By all means, you can hit someone hard. You can hit someone clean. You can make a good tackle. And if it's Saquon, if it's Jalen, if it's AJ, once they have the football and they're running, I got no problem if you want to make tough tackles. Big difference between tough tackles, though, and crossing the line. And I have a thought that if Jalen is running and he elects to slide, they feel, you know what? Yeah, pop him anyway. We'll eat the 15-yard. Pop him anyway. I mean, that's scumbag shit, and I'm prepared for that. But what you can't do if you're the Eagles is let this little nonsense play any sort of role in the way that you prepare for this game. That's what they want you to do. You got to play your game. And then from there, you can't control what they're going to do. You stick to your guns. You stick to your greatness. You stick to what makes you great. And then if they decide to be assholes, then, you'll have to react accordingly on the field. And by the way, Jaden Daniels, he's a runner too. So you make sure you pay back. That's all. And I think I think this is what happened here. I don't know if the defensive coordinator even realized what he's doing, but now he's putting his own quarterback in harm's way because I bet you these guys on the Eagles team, CJ, GJ, guys are going to realize if they see it in game what the Commanders are trying to accomplish and they know it's going over the line a tad. You don't think Jaden Daniels is going to get a taste of that medicine too? So he's putting his own quarterback in harm's way if they do go down that road. I'm not saying they are going down that road. I'm saying I can't rule it out. Because that statement and the way they went about it screams to me they're saying it for a reason. Now, I have Nick Sirianni reacting to those comments. But first, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. A crazy schedule can make it easy to fall back into your dinnertime recipe rut. So keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every week. So there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you, and ingredients arrive right at your doorstep, pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that? I'm telling you, I had the risotto the other night. I can't stop opening up my fridge, seeing a beautiful, delicious HelloFresh meal in front of my eyes, and going right to my stovetop to cook it all. It's so simple. It's so good, too, and it's so easy. When I tell you, you can go to HelloFresh.com/50Brodes and use code 50Brodes for 50% off plus free shipping. I ain't lying. 50% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/50Brodes. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. All right, so Sirianni, the clip's a little long here. I'm going to try and speed it up to a point that makes sense. He shared his thoughts, though, on what the defensive coordinator said, and here's head coach Nick Sirianni.
Guys are going to every team is going to try to tackle Jalen like a running back. I mean, he's running with the football. They'll try to tackle him. That doesn't. We already are ultimately cautious with how we use them and how we think about each play because we know how important it is to have him out there. But I wouldn't expect anything else. Jalen knows how to take care of himself. And we know how to kind of help him do that as well as far as the way the scheme goes.
I actually really like that answer from Sirianni. He doesn't stoop low, okay? He doesn't go below the belt or say anything too outrageous. He goes, all right. I feel I could see it in his facial expressions, though. He didn't love those words. He didn't love the way it was said. And good. I think they're going to use that as motivation. At this time of the year, all bulletin board material, there's truth to it. Guys see things, guys hear things, and they snatch onto it big time. All right. You wait. I actually believe that there's a correlation between Lane Johnson seeing that Jalen had some more fire in him today and what is coming out of Washington. I think there's a correlation there. You kind of poked the bear. You woke up the beast, if you will. Not that you had to wake him up. I mean, the Eagles are, 14 and 1 in their last 15 games? Oh, man. More on that in a minute. Let's take a couple calls here.
Yo, Brodes, what's up? Long-time listener, first-time caller. Really hyping what you're doing. Just want to call in and leave a little bit of kind of hope for all of us Eagles fans this weekend because I've been on edge about this game. I don't think we need to worry about what's going on with the Commanders because I don't think any of us and anyone can confidently say that we've seen Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a football coach, and I always coach my team. There's games you win, there's games you lose. And then there's games that you didn't lose, you just didn't win. And there's games where you didn't win, you just didn't lose. And I feel like the last game that we played against the Commanders, when Jalen Hurts gets taken out with the concussion, C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets taken out with the penalties. And then we go against this team that gave up 5 turnovers that game. And yet somehow they still won. That's not a game that they won. That's just a game that we lost. And they didn't necessarily win. They just didn't lose. And we didn't lose. We just didn't win because we allowed them to stay in the game and we didn't put them away. I don't think that happens on Sunday. I think the biggest X factor that's going to come into Sunday that nobody's talking about, I believe this will be the A.J. Brown game. I believe this will be the A.J. Brown game that we've been needing, that we've been missing, that we have to have. If we're going to be successful and win a Super Bowl, we have to have an A.J. Brown game. This will be the A.J. Brown game. Go Birds, EAGLELES. Go Birds, go Birds. Go Birds.
I love it. Thank you so much for the call, man. So, yeah, I did not expect to hear that it's going to be an A.J. Brown game, only because the Commanders statistically can't stop the run to save their lives, and that's obviously one of our strengths. So if you just lean on that, that should be the recipe. But look, if they're going to try their very best to stack the box, even though I don't think that works, if they're going to do certain things and then that makes the passing game more vulnerable for the Commanders, and you could take advantage of that even more, then yeah, there's a chance for A.J. Brown. I wonder, though, and maybe I'm off base here, I don't know, but I wonder how healthy A.J. Brown is, because if you remember, leading up to the playoffs, him and Devontae Smith, they had those awkward practices where they weren't involved, and then A.J. got dressed, and then he left, and he said it was miscommunication, and it was all about the team's plan on making sure he's as healthy as he can be for Sunday's game against Green Bay at the time, and I don't know, it was a little all over the place. So is A.J. Brown healthy enough to generate the separation that we normally look for? And maybe it's not there because of that. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of speculating here. But I do agree that we're kind of due, right? We're due for A.J. to have a monster effort. I got to give A.J. a ton of credit, though, because I do think he's done an amazing job at answering these questions. He sounds genuine, right? And he's a big personality. We've picked apart a lot of the A.J. Brown stuff over the last couple of years since he's been here. And we look at the diva side. Is he not a diva? Why is he perceived a certain way? This, that, and the third. And when he's asked about maybe not having as many receptions as you would normally have, or not having a ton of yards, the way he's expressing the importance of just getting wins and not caring how it happens, it feels Jalen Hurts-ish. It feels the same as when Jalen says it. Some guys, they make remarks like that and you know it's total BS and you're not buying it. They're just giving you traditional player speak and you're just trying to go through the motions of answering media questions. But for the first time, it felt very genuine to me where AJ isn't ticked off. AJ isn't as mad. AJ isn't angry that it's going this way. I think he's bought in to how this team operates and he knows that there's a system here. And in the system, yes, he's a first option in the passing game, but as an offense, this run game is just a different monster. And because of that, though, you're able to really indulge in what your strength is, because if you had to worry about making an A.J. Brown happy, let's say T.O. ain't happy. Well, you got to do things to make T.O. happy. Well, that's not necessarily the case here right now with the passing game. So for whatever that means. But look, I hope you're right. I hope this is a big game for AJ, and you bring up CJ DJ. One thing I know the Commanders are going to try and do outside of maybe taking an illegal shot at our quarterback is they're going to try and get underneath of your skin. So you got to be prepared. If Jalen Carter did what he did against the Pittsburgh Steelers and punched somebody in the face on a punt that should actually kept the ball for the Steelers, but instead we got lucky, that type of crap can't happen. CJ running his mouth, that type of stuff can't happen. It's going to be a highly emotional game. The Commanders have talked their crap to the Birds so far this season, and after the last win, of course, they were running their mouth and saying we'll see each other again. So there's going to be a lot of emotions flying. You got to keep that in check, because the Commanders are going to point that out and try and get under your skin. That I do believe. All right, let's go to the phones again.
Hey, Brodes, I know you're gearing up for the big game this weekend. I'm calling in to give my thoughts, I think, on the game. I think that Eagles win this game pretty handily against the Washington Commanders. My thoughts exactly are the Commanders play two playoff teams that aren't necessarily super great in the defensive aspect. So they've kind of just got to run whatever they want to run against these defenses and do it pretty easily. I think the thing they forget about is they got to come to Philadelphia in a tough environment with the link that is going to be rocking. And they have to play a hard-nosed Philadelphia team that has a great defensive line and an awesome secondary. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to be able to do whatever he wants to do, like these Commanders are spreading and putting out as the narrative of this game is that Jaden Daniels will destroy the Eagles. I think the Eagles got this game big time. And another thing I want to tell you, I think Jalen Hurts will go off this game. I think that there has been so much hate on a kid that is talented and shows up, goes to work, and does what he's supposed to do. I think he throws for a good amount of yards this game, and he shuts these Commander fans up. I think our next trip is to the Super Bowl. I'm a huge fan of the show. I appreciate you, and go Birds. Let's go to the Super Bowl.
I love it. Thank you for taking the time to call. I really appreciate it. All good stuff. I'm with you on Jalen, man. I believe in the kid. I really, really do. He just wins. And I know that bothers a lot of people, but when you win at the rate that you do, this isn't just winning 9 games, right? You're not winning 9-8. You're not going 9-8. You're not even going 10-7. These are 14 games that you're winning in multiple different seasons in a 3-year span. So there's something to it. There's something to the intangibles. See, Carson had all the talent in the world. He couldn't connect and had no intangibles. This kid, you know, I mean, he's got these intangibles to an elite level, and it's contagious, and it's motivating, and there's something to his leadership qualities that are rare, and it helps him on the football field in areas where he may lack. He doesn't have Josh Allen's arm, but he still has a competent NFL arm. He can read a defense, even though some think he can. So, you know, I mean, I have faith in him, and I'm expecting some big things, and I'm with you in regards to Jaden Daniels because I expect Vic Fangio to have a Vic Fangio game. Vic Fangio is going to help us win this game big time. Now, speaking of winning 14 games here, so the afternoon show on WIP had an interesting question today. Would you rather be the better team heading into the playoffs or the hotter team? Referencing maybe the Commanders being a hotter team. Well, when you look at it, yes, the Commanders won 7 in a row, but can't you make the argument that they're 14-1 in their last 15 games, if I did the math correctly, the Eagles. They played 15 football games. They played 15 football games and won 14 of them. So, to me, wouldn't that mean the Eagles are hot too? So, I'd rather be the better team that's hot, that's won 14 and 15. They're both. They're hot and they're better. I want that. No, I would never choose the little underdogish Washington Commanders team over being the better football team. I'd rather take the better talent because in football, in the NFL, on that Sunday, when your better team goes out there and effectively executes, you'll see that the other team doesn't even belong on the same field as them. I'll take that any day of the week. But it was interesting to hear the ones that feel they'd rather take the hotter team. Why? House money, less expectations, no pressure. No. See, I want the pressure. I want the expectations. I want the greatness. That's what I want. And I want you to be able to stand up to that and take it home. I don't want to be the underdog thing. I know it was fun in 17. I want to be the team. I want to build something like Tom Brady, where every year people thought Patriots. I want to be like the Chiefs. Every year people go Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid. I want that. And if we win this game, we're in the Super Bowl again. You start to build that with Sirianni and Jalen, and that's pretty remarkable. Better team is my answer. All right, we'll take one more call here and then wrap things up.
Hey, Brodes. My name is Ashley. I'm calling from Texas. I want to say I'm so thankful for your podcast. Being surrounded by all of these Cowgirls fans, it's nice to hear some Eagles talk on my radio. I do have a question for you. Earlier today, I had seen a quote by, I think it was the Commies offensive coordinator, that if Jalen Hurts runs the ball, they're going to treat him like a running back. And I'm wondering what your thoughts on that is. For me, I see that as the offensive coordinator basically publicly stating they're going to be targeting Jalen Hurts, knowing that he's injured, to try to take him out of the game. And I'm curious if you think that too. Thanks for taking my call, and go Birds.
Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was their defensive coordinator, to clarify. But, yeah, I agree with you. I think they have something in mind. I do. And I think it's flat-out scumbag. I brought it up earlier in the week that you got to be aware of them trying something that is, unfortunately, unprofessional. Because they've shown that side of a football team. They've put it on tape. I'm cool with playing with an edge, but they seem to be really going over that line at times. A little too much for my liking. So to answer your question, Ashley, yeah, I think they have something planned. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for kicking it with me. Remember, Garage Beer, it's the best beer in the world. All right? Don't worry about IPA, 0% IPA, 100% light beer, 1,000% quality. DrinkGarageBeer.com. When I tell you, you go to a party, NFC Championship game party, and you got racks of Garage Beer on your shoulders, people are going to say, damn, that guy fucks. And that's going to be you. All right? Just saying. Thank you guys all so much for kicking it with me. We'll be talking soon. Go Birds.